I actually watched it, and I remember when he lost his child, and having had that experience in my life, losing a child myself. I know that when those anniversaries come, sometimes it's overwhelming. Even if you are at a place where you traversed the grief process, it does not shield you from those moments when the wave crests and capsizes over you. And so, if you consider that he may be already processing this loss and then being beaten up in society, in the social arena, he's being beaten up, but being called a liar, being called a thief, uh, being said that he's misrepresenting information, and he's like, I'm just telling the perspective, the truth that I have according to the perspective that I was, the vantage point that I was given, and then feeling like you need to go so far as to get your publicist and agent at the time to come and back you up, and you still, even after presenting this truth, not my truth but the truth,
Yeah.
you're still being beaten up. It all comes together and collides, and I could totally see it. And let's not forget, we live in a society where people would rather film your death than help you to save your life.
Yeah.
And he unfortunately is a casualty of this tumultuous comedic war. And I saw it, and my heart went out to him, because even if he were to come and say, it's just a bad day, this is, this is the anniversary of this and this, and today is just a bad day, he would still be ridiculed, because now it would be an excuse
Yeah.
for his miscommunication or misrepresentation of details, instead of us as a people embracing this human being, because it's still a human being who's experienced significant loss, who is trying desperately to deal with that loss the best way that he can, amidst rapid fire
Yeah.
condemnation for something he did not do.
Yeah.
He just did not have all the details.
Yeah. And I would like to. I think it's going to be interesting to hear Katt speak again. It was so much. It was so much information and so many little missiles and stuff hit.
Ooh,
You know,
torpedoes.
I mean, torpedo, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he made a
Mm-hmm.
lot of impact on people. I mean, he spoke about Ricky Smiley wearing those dresses and playing a woman more than playing a man in his career, and he would not stop. And I think he just caught him around a time where he was already going through enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and let up on that situation as well.
I'd
But
like to say also, too, my condolences to Ricky Smiley, having that particular experience be a part of my own story.
yeah,
My heart goes out to you. You're in my prayer and in my thoughts. And I know that losing a child is always with you, and the hurt never goes away. So,
yeah,
and as you traverse this particular set of circumstances, I ask the Most High to comfort your heart, and
right.
and give you and your family peace while you all remember.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, because that's that. In a perfect world, and you don't expect to bury your child.
No, we
And
don't.
I know people who've lost their parents. They're not the same, but then parents who
Mhm.
lose their children, man, that is just a unreal. It's like a nightmare for
Yeah,
most people who tell me that like they wake up every day and it's just something
yeah.
they have to relive it over and over again. So yeah, my
It
condolences
changes you.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, So, in regards to certain things that Kat did say, even though the dress thing came up, um, there was also things about being a plant. He
Hmm.
did say that about Kevin Hart, and he brought up some reasons why, and you've already kind of went over it as far as him basically jumping on a scene and all of a sudden having a movie, already having all these things come up to him. that sounds like a plant. That sounds like someone who's already had everything on a silver platter, and he said it hasn't happened since then. What do you think that? Well, Cat Williams, Kevin Hart did respond. Did you hear his
Mhm.
response? What did you
I
think
didn't
of his?
know. He's the only one whose response. Oh, I heard it. I heard a bit of it, but I didn't get to actually focus in on his. There were so many of them.
Mhm.
There are so many coming. Cardi B responded, Trick Daddy responded, or people who weren't even involved that felt compelled to respond to this internet breaking interview, and this whole situation has just become convoluted with other people's opinions. Um, I did hear, I read actually a bit of Kevin Hart's response, and honestly, it's the same thing. Him and Kevin Hart have been going at it for years. It's kind of the same response tailored a different way.
Yeah.
And Kevin is basically saying, if you're worth your salt, prove it. No matter what my level of success is, if you can ascend to it, make it happen. I shouldn't be able to stand in the way of your opportunities if you're really that good, you
Yeah.
know.
And,
And
and then he threw in a promo for his movie
he
on
did,
that on Netflix. Yeah.
he
So
did.
I think that
In
and
terms of the plant, though,
yeah.
so I'm going to have a differing, very unpopular opinion because I again self proclaimed conspiracy theorist. I also know how conspiracy works. When you're the Jesuits, when you are functioning um, in the space of wanting to control both sides, you throw in a plant or a mold or something that allows you to control the opposition, so that no matter what you do, you create a win-win on for you on both sides. You control the narrative and the outcomes. And I'm going to say it. I can't avoid the idea that maybe to some degree or another, Cat himself isn't to some degree or another a plant as well.
Now, do you think that that's intentional? Like he's intentionally being acting as a plant, or is because he's within that circle, he's a mole, he's somebody that people really don't want to tell anything to, because now he obviously, when he has information, he withholds it and then he puts it out there for all to see and all to hear. Do you think that the folks that are in power, they're using him but he doesn't know he's being used? Do you think that's what it is?
As conscious and aware and intellectually sound as he is, I shudder to imagine that he wouldn't be aware that he's being used. That he's being used. I think that to some degree or another, there are benefits to his being used. Again, if you go back in those digital footprints that the internet provides so graciously, you'll see that he's flaunting some of the same symbolism that the Illuminati, the people who are affiliated with the Illuminati, have flaunted. You'll see like his 23 and Me tour. If you do the numeric math, it comes to 666. I mean, it's like, come on, dude, you can't overlook some of this stuff. And in order to win the war, you control both ends.
Yeah.
So order out of chaos, controlled opposition. Maybe you're not necessarily like Kevin Hart or some of those others who have signed their name in blood on the dotted line, but you're definitely just as cognizant of what role you're playing to bring about certain ends and to create certain narratives. And again, we have the Epstein list coming out. And what better way to distract folks from the names that are on that list than an internet breaking interview with an individual that people see as a truth teller.
I was thinking about that because when all that stuff happened with Cat Williams the first time, and then you start seeing they were saying he was crazy, they were saying he was on drugs, You saw the video of him getting wrestled down by that kid, and it just went on and on and on. You start seeing mugshot after mugshot of him, and then he had that candid interview where he spoke about, yeah, he probably didn't really believe in the Illuminati all like that, but then once he realized that it was real, and people had to be cognizant of going and shaking up that hornet's nest, and he did. He had to be stung a million times, and he's still not going to join him, but he respect him. You would have thought that he wouldn't do another interview like this, which does kind of, to me, it does spark some interest as to like how much of this has he really been into, and if he actually is, um like how far deep in it is he really? Because
I don't.
you would think that his situation with Kevin, that he would just let it go. I mean, he has, like he said, he has 12 stand-up specials. He owns all 12 according to him. I haven't looked that up, but no one's refuted that.
Right.
Um, you would think that if you have that level of success, you have a cult following. You can continue on with your stuff and make your money and just go off into the sunset, take care of your family. But the
Right.
fact that he keeps bringing them up, it does seem fishy. Like, what's the point in doing that? Are we talking humiliation rituals? Because that's what we've been seeing anyway. This is just another chapter of it. We're looking at what happened to Diddy and all the Jonathan Majors, all the other people whose business Ti and his wife again recently. It's
Again.
it's all type of stuff happening right now. What do you think is going on with Katt as far as his involvement? Do you think he's in there a lot deeper than what he's saying?
I think that he's an exceptionally talented comedian. I think that he has earned his spot. I think that he is an amazing humanitarian. I think that he has. I loved his segment on how he pays his tithes. I thought that was beautiful that he gives back to the cities that he performs in because he's not affiliated to a specific church. So he recycles that back into those communities. I think I want to say that he is a solid individual. Nevertheless, I'm not foolish. And if he truly is a believer, as he promotes, then even he has to also understand that to a degree, to exalt him, it would be idol worship as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so it's like, you got to draw it back. And if you truly, as a believer myself, we understand that we don't exalt ourselves. We allow God to exalt us, because he who exalts himself will be brought low, and he who is low will be exalted. So it's like you keep going in almost to these spaces like they don't know who they're dealing with. But when you really are a child of the Most High, that's something you don't have to do. That battle is not yours. You don't have to fight it. God will fight it all on your behalf. And if it is God's will and purpose for you to ascend to a particular position, nothing's going to stop it. You
I'm
don't have to pick these fights.
I'm glad that you said that, because I have what really chaps my ass, and I don't even like saying it like that, but when you
I
hear,
feel like you do.
I look at people I look at people real funny when they try to put God in front of them as a shield to kind of
Yeah.
justify their BS.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, only God can judge me, so I'm not trying to hear what you're talking about. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Um,
Yeah.
don't put God in your mess. People always talking about the spirit this, the spirit that. Come on now. I mean, a lot of times, man, they trying to convince themselves of something, and then there'll be a lot of drama around them because of that. So this situation, I'm looking at it like, did it really need to be done? Because it's a whole lot more other things going on in society that's far more important than what's going on between some comedians, that they could have just talked that out before it even got out there like that. That's what makes me feel like that initial that initial thing that happened to him where he was kind of outcasted, you kind of get left with the not necessarily regret, but like, you got a foul taste in your mouth because you were right there.
Politics.
You were
Yeah.
like right there, and you just like, ah. And now this cat is you're looking at this person take the shine, and you see in your mind, you think they corny, you think, they really don't have what it takes. And now you just keep going and going and going. Now, like you said, I think Cat a stand-up dude. I've seen him say a lot of real stuff. Even the
Yeah.
situation with the kid, everybody laughed at him about it. But Cat is known for going to communities. He just wanted to play basketball with the kids just to show, he still got it. And then there was just one little badass boy that was his height. His height, his weight. Decided he want to get on Katt Williams. I mean, he did. But I like how Cat even bounced back from that and added a little bit of that into his stand up, which shows how great of a comedian he is. Because if you're a comedian and you can't talk about yourself, I don't really think that you're that great of a comedian. You have to be able to
Laugh at yourself.
You got to be able to laugh at yourself. You can't. I look at some comedians who they're really funny. They'll joke on you, but as soon as a joke is on them, you can tell on their face they damn near ready to fight. It's like, come on now, you gotta have tougher skin than that. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you can't take it, but you can dish it out. That's wild, man. Especially for a comedian. It just don't make no sense. And growing up, we did the dozens cap on each other all the time. And we're not talking about lying, y'all. Young folks, y'all say cap, but we say cap like joking on each other and stuff.
High side.
Yeah. So high side, yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you had to have tough skin amongst each other. So how can you choose a career to be a comedian and you can't take a joke against yourself? That just don't even make sense. But the way that shows how strong of a comedian he is, though. He took the hits and did what he had to do. I just think that him, everybody likes to say no thank you themselves. They don't want to be told no thank you to somebody else. And I think that's what has this ongoing thing, because now he's seeing this guy doing, and he's critiquing every little thing he does. And he's right in certain things that he's saying, but is it really necessary? That's the point where it catches my attention. Is it really necessary?